It's your boy, Mr. HandCrafted.
No cap straight.
HandCrafted.
This is HR's worst nightmare, the I Don't Know Shit podcast. Alright, we here for another episode. How you been, for?
Okay.
You stayed out of jail the last couple weeks?
You know I did.
Alright, that's good. That's what's up.
You text me, right?
You actually answered.
Alright,
Okay.
cool.
And you was actually at work last week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we making progress. Baby steps. Baby
Baby
steps.
steps. You feel me?
Alright, baby, how you doing?
I'm great, actually.
How was your weekend?
It was lots of fun and yeah, lots of fun.
That sounds spicy.
Very spicy.
That sounded spicy.
Very spicy. I'm still recovering from 2 nights ago. So.
I ain't gonna tell nobody else. It was live.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying that I'm still recovering.
Gosh, no comment. Anyway, yeah, that's what's up, man. I'm glad to have you all here this weekend. We have a special guest today. She is a teacher, a good friend from way back. I'm gonna have her introduce herself and say like what it is she does, and just tell us a little bit about herself.
All right. Hi. I'm Brianna. I teach 4th grade. I've been a teacher for, I always say 4 years because I include the year I got my master's. So I've been a teacher for 4 years. And right now I teach 4th grade at King
Elementary?
Mm-hmm.
Off of MLK, kind of?
Alberta.
Okay,
like
yeah.
7th in Alberta, yeah.
Oh, in the hood. That's what's up.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of dope.
All the badass kids.
No.
No?
No.
Ain't no bad kids here?
I mean, no. I wouldn't say so. But it's, teach us on whatever you understand.
What is it?
That's the badass school, huh?
But that neighborhood's kind of gentrified now.
It's definitely gentrified.
So it's not the
That's
same.
true, too.
It's not like what you thinking when we went to school and shit like that.
But also what you implied is that before it was gentrified, there were black kids, which automatically made them bad. That's what you just implied.
And that's the whole thing we talking about right now.
Literally just implied.
Time out. Hey,
That's what you just implied. It's okay.
Hey, look.
He implied that.
Hey,
it was Mexicans and
Hell yeah.
it was white kids that went to
Hey, look, Keto, don't lie.
There's a lot of people that went to King.
Niggas was scared of the motherfuckers that went to Boise Elliott and King, bro. Like the YMCA and fucking Boys and Girls Club. Like, nigga, what school you go to? Like,
My brother went to
I bet.
My brother went to Boys and Girls Club for one day, and he was like, "Nope, it ain't happening. Don't send me back."
We just started on the titty room.
Yeah, Boys and Girls Club used to be hood as shit, bro. That's the first time I smelled weed.
Wow.
First time I touched the butt.
There's a lot of things going on.
Yeah, bro.
Things going over there around King. That's what I'm saying. See, King, that's a dangerous school.
Okay.
It's a cool school now. Is it alright?
Yeah.
But then again, that was kind of when we had like a hood in a way, though. It wasn't the hood like what you see in like California or whatever. But that's like back when it was like. We had Blockbuster. Nigga, Blockbuster on Fridays used to be packed like
Yeah,
a motherfucker.
I would say it has changed a lot since because the neighborhood's changed. So the people that you would normally run into just walking down Alberta, right, Jack's, they're not there anymore.
Right. The store ain't the same. The chicken ain't the same.
I ate that chicken one time.
You know what? I'm gonna say the chicken's almost the same.
Is it?
It's so good with some hot sauce. Okay.
Go with that
Oh my
Louisiana
God.
Red Hot. Ooh.
Matter of fact, I might go there today.
Are you the teacher that always be giving your kids fried chicken?
No, I'm share my food.
Oh.
I'm not that one. I am not that one.
That's fucking funny. Hey, that's low-key bad. You implied that all them kids was black and bad. Bro.
I didn't say they was all black. I just said that was a school that was up to no good at times.
Mm-hmm.
Listen,
I don't know what to say, okay?
listen, I like bad kids.
Why? Because you weren't good.
Mm-hmm.
So you feel like you understand them on a different level.
I was definitely a bad kid. Definitely.
Good.
Behavioral classes and all.
We gonna have to good because we gonna talk about all that. I'm glad. All right, how was your experience becoming a teacher? To become a teacher, what degrees do you need?
So there's no requirement for your undergrad. there's just like classes that you have to take to get into grad school.
Okay.
I went to Western Oregon. It was way too white. Like, it was just, and they are a university for teachers, but it's like literally no one of color. Like, it was just like Portland
Oregon's white as
on
fuck.
steroids though. Like,
Okay.
it was so small, so it was just literally like white people everywhere. It's just like white. Everywhere I looked, everywhere I turned. And then I went there for 2 years, but my second year, my great grandma passed away. So I moved back home, and I ended up going to intern a program called the Portland Teachers Program, which is very near and dear to my heart. It was a program created for teachers of color to help them kind of path the way to become a teacher.
That's dope.
And then that program sent me to PCC for the rest of my undergrad, lower level classes. Then I went to PSU. I graduated with my undergrad, and then you do a year of grad school. So my senior year, I got pregnant, so I didn't have to, but I took a year off. Okay. So I walked.
You was out there being fast.
I was. You know what? No, you absolutely right. It was literally like my graduation was on a Sunday, and I had my daughter by Wednesday.
Turn up.
Yeah.
Hey, though.
So then I took a break. I was like, okay, yeah, no. So I took a break, and then when she turned 1, I started grad school.
It is fucking funny.
Yeah, it was a good match.
Low-key, ain't that what you supposed to do in college? Like, you supposed to go, like, live your life, have fun.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nothing wrong with that.
I definitely regret.
His living life was a little different, though. He was streaking and shit.
Okay.
Who? Me? I thought you wasn't supposed to tell nobody about that.
Okay.
You scandalous. Anyway, you scandalous. Anyway.
Oh, wait.
Was college fun though? How was that experience? No. You didn't like college?
I would personally say I did not get the college experience. That narrative that they have of college, like you go out, you party, you make friends, and I'm very antisocial. Okay. So I also don't like meeting new people. Okay. I think the one kind of thing that came out of going to college was I got a best friend. I made a best friend, a really close friend. That was like the one thing that I actually legit did that they say, like, you'll find your bridesmaid when you're in college, like your daughter's godparent, like whatever. I got that. But other than that, I feel like I robbed myself of an opportunity. And that's like a whole nother thing.
What do you mean by that? Elaborate.
I feel like I robbed myself of being young, wild, and free in college by trying to be in a committed relationship.
You was trying to be ratchet 3 years early.
Because I feel like that's when I should have been doing it.
Absolutely.
Shit, I'm too old now, so I just missed the whole opportunity.
Hey, you ain't never too old, man. Shit. Okay. You ain't never too old. You better live your life. Fuck that.
Okay, well, yes, that's what happened. I just feel like...
All right, can I ask you a question then? A lot of people get mad at me for saying this, and I've never said this in public.
Oh, jeez.
With you saying that.
What did I say?
As far as you feel like you cheated yourself out of having life and stuff.
That young. Mm-hmm.
Do you regret? All right, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to my words.
I'm gonna listen to the whole thing first.
Right. I'm not asking about love. I'm not asking if you care or you don't value this or whatever. Mm-hmm. Do you regret having a kid?
At that
time.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
For me, I regret having kids. I regret it like a motherfucker.
I think the reason you never say this out loud is because you don't want people to feel like their kids are a mistake. That's probably why you've never said that.
It's not a mistake. They're not a mistake.
No, but I did. But I definitely would say I regret having a child when I did. I wouldn't have picked a different path, but I definitely regret.
I feel like
the situation you get put into when you have a child and you're not in a relationship, but regardless of the relationship, when having a child turns into co-parenting and then it turns that's why I regret it.
Absolutely.
It was just not a healthy situation, and I mentally thought it was, right? Like, you're young, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. We about to be together. It's gonna work.
And even if not, we're gonna be best friends. We gonna raise a kid. We gonna be kicking it. It's
We're gonna be
like,
roommates if we have to. We gonna make this work.
bro.
So I do regret it because of that. Yes, I would agree for sure.
Absolutely. All right. I don't feel so bad because a lot of people when I say that is like, oh my God, I can't believe you don't love your you need to love your kids. Like what?
I don't love her no less. It's just the timing was not perfect. Like I wouldn't have chosen that.
Like for me, I would never pick to not be in the same house with my children.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't choose to not be with my kids' moms. That was their choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I just had to kind of live with the decision.
And I think that sucks too because that's majority of the time the dad's narrative.
Right, absolutely.
While the mom on the other end is like, oh, well, you not here. Well, bitch, I'm not here because you over there. Like, it just didn't work that way. But yeah, I would agree. I would for sure agree.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Not good, but...
good, because you want to make sure you're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. What about you, Ford?
Shit, I was a mistake. So.
Oh, my God.
Shit, what you want me to say? I was out here, thugging. Mom and Pops was getting it. Here come little... Here. I was like, nigga... No, you wasn't supposed to be. You came at the wrong time.
Bad timing.
I've been thugging ever since.
Abort.
I think I was like the kid that was supposed to fix it. Because on my mom and dad's side, I'm the youngest of the three boys. I think I was like that kid that was hopefully supposed to like fix the marriage.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out like that. Boss was like, nah, bro, I'm out.
Like, no, he didn't do it.
See, it was a mistake. It was a mistake.
Boss was like, I don't give a fuck, I'm out this bitch.
Oh, I thought you was having a girl. You had this nigga.
It was funny is like the only way I feel like, the reason I feel like I can laugh at it is because I don't feel like my dad was like some deadbeat dad that didn't love me or didn't take care of me. I feel like my pops fell into the narrative of just being stuck in that stigma that black men, like, because, like, coming to find out, like, just figuring out certain shit, there's certain shit that I didn't know about my mom and, like, certain situations with my dad and shit that I was, like, as I got older and I found out, I was like, oh. So, yeah. I don't know if I was a mistake, though.
Yeah.
But I definitely...
You were that, let's try again and see if it works. Like,
right.
Let's see if we can fix it.
Mistake. Mistake.
Damn, man. You scared.
Relationships definitely go through a honeymoon phase when they're having a baby, too. So maybe that's what it was.
That's true.
That's like, there's like just like a raw, like, unconditional love that you feel.
For that person.
Yeah, for that person, and then here's the baby, and now we both have this unconditional love.
Yeah.
And then you're going, and then, like, by the time the baby is, like, 3 months, and the shit's just, okay, now, all you do is cry, shit, and sleep. Like, it's not fun anymore. And I think that's when the relationships, most of the time, move out of that honeymoon phase.
I would agree. There was this, I guess for me, it was hard because it was like, I was expected to work, come home, cook, clean, take care of her because she's just had a baby, and take care of the baby. And so for me, it became a lot. And I guess I feel like for me, I ended up treating my first relationship with my baby mom, I think I ended up treating my baby mom how my mom treated me. Like, for instance, like, say I come home from work and the dishes ain't done and, like, shit like that. Like, the fuck? You ain't did shit all day and you in the same clothes I left you in?
Okay.
Tell me how many times you done heard that from your parents coming home. She been going to work all day. Like, you ain't even wash your ass, little nigga. You got on the same clothes I left you in. You been sleeping them all day. You ain't got the cushion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, I assume my mom loved me.
Mm-hmm.
So, for me to, like, say that to somebody else, like, why would I be wrong or assume that I don't love or that's not a way to express how you feel to somebody if that's
That's all you can show.
You know what I mean? And so, like, that's, like, some reflection I had to do with myself on, like, how I used to, where I might have went wrong in different situations. I definitely acted how people acted towards me, which not necessarily is a good thing, but I feel like I only did what I knew. You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely feel like that's wrong. You should never, like, expect a woman, like, to cook, clean, and do certain shit, but it wasn't like, I just thought that was the role. I go to work, I pay the bills, you stay home, you take care of the house. We both have a job. It wasn't like that you had to do it, but that was, I thought, your role in this partnership. What do you think about, not necessarily my specific situation, but maybe like your own? Like, I ain't gonna go there.
No comment.
I am not going down that way.
For all my fellas, he tripping. Tripping.
Why am I tripping? Tell me.
No, I really just had this conversation though yesterday, or like on
Okay.
Friday with Shorty, like
Okay.
at work or whatever. It's just like, why do like a female has to be right here and then men are up here? And it was just like, because you feel me, like it's the way the system was set up. Not naturally, you're not right here. Naturally, you're right here. Written in the Bible, it's right there in your fucking face. It's for you to see it. But the way the system is set
But you're
up,
saying that men are equal, and it says that in the Bible.
yeah,
Okay.
equal as one. Like just like you was just saying, you go to work, but your home basis is the foundation, which is the house. That's
Right.
the foundation.
Right.
We go out, men don't work, men don't eat. At the end of the day,
Right.
It just is what it is. That's where I'm just like, all right. The comment in itself, I could like we can go down this long line, but just to answer Shorty's question yesterday and what you were just saying just a second ago. I think we all equal at the end of the day. So I don't think you're really looking at it as in just the way you were supposed to be treated. It might be an old way to be treated as in your mom is older, being like 50, 60, 70. So like that's just the way they grew up in general. And like we got a new way of looking at shit being in the 2000s.
Okay.
So a female can go out and do hella shit now in the 2000s. She couldn't do that in the 80s and 90s.
Hell
She
no.
can't. I mean, that's just that's the difference breaker. So a lot of females, what I was telling her was, y'all got the ability to do the same thing, but y'all not taking care of the foundation, and that's why y'all feel like y'all down here and not up here.
So you're saying that the house needs to be taken care of first, and then after the home is taken care of, it shouldn't really matter after that. But what if a woman has a job? It's like she's working just as much as you. Is it still her job to solely take care of the house and make sure that shit's working?
How is she working just as much as you?
Like I'm saying, as far as like, because wifey got a job, she has a couple jobs, but then she still comes home and cooks and cleans and does all this extra shit, and so it's like, is that because she has a job and works a couple jobs, is that no longer her role to come home and cook and clean, or is it
No, it's still her role. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just asking.
Like if you choosing to be above a man and say, I want this degree, I want that shit, I want to take this job away from this nigga, then alright, it's okay. I'm not stopping you. Nobody's stopping you. But at the end of the day, you still got to take care of home.
Where do you come in?
If he ain't happy, huh?
Where do you come in the home? In the home, if it is her responsibility to cook, to clean, to go to work. By the time you get home from work,
it's not just like cook and clean.
No, I'm sorry. The home is like, when you say home, what I get
like
mentally, I think of the relationship. I think of the children. But so my question is where do you come in?
as a man?
As a man, where do you come in?
Supposed to be her protection. That's the security that females be talking about. The security of being like, oh, most niggas be like, oh, you want me to beat a nigga up? No. Just the security of helping her out around this motherfucker. Okay, you see that her day was long. Can you come in and you rub her shoulders? Instead of you just being like, all right, can you rub my shoulders back? Shit like, it's just simple shit. Things like that to take care of the home. That's what I mean by Jessica. Because at the end of the day, you going to do back-breaking work. She's not. And it's just the way it goes.
How is she not?
Because if you go out in the field and you choosing to work in the field as a woman, you're choosing to. It's not... Most of the time, you're behind a computer, you're behind books, not to take apart from.
He's saying like it's labor,
like,
as opposed to like a woman with a more like job that uses thinking, like
physical labor.
Like
for
instance, your husband might work at UPS, is where you might work being like a teacher. I'm not saying it's not just mentally draining, but as physically abusive to our bodies, that shit fucks us up. As where we go through physical abuse and mental, as where you might just go through mental.
Already breaking.
But is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically, I just can't get that word out. but physical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The physical labor.
Physical and mental, that's basically the difference. To me.
Yeah.
I can
That's
see
just
that.
opinion. That's not facts. It's my opinion.
We don't know shit, motherfucker. But I can see where you're coming from. That makes sense. Bree, I wanted to jump back and kind of ask you about your experience in going to like an all-way school.
Mm-hmm.
Was it dope being the only black person? Did you ever feel like the token black person? Like, was it like? Have you ever like seen like a group of friends and you could tell like that one black guy is like the cool black guy? Like everyone wants to hang.
Balances the whole group.
Everybody wants to be like. Everybody wants to be his friend, or you know what I mean?
No, it's not fun. It's never fun. Once you're aware, it's never fun being the token.
Okay, I can agree
Right?
with that.
Like,
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
even, like,
absolutely.
Being a teacher is still like, I'm that token.
Yeah.
Being in school, I'm still that token. So, like, the stuff that they always, like, TV shows, right? They show that, like, they look to the black person for the answer. If it's some, like, I don't enjoy that. But I wasn't always aware of that. And that's when I was the only white person, the only black person at...
Hell, let's do that.
Yeah, when I was the only black person, I'm not even going to say the only black person, but the classes I was taking, I was the only black person because how many black people, females, do you really know that want to be teachers and are going to go to Western Oregon in Monmouth in the middle of nowhere? Between Corvallis and Salem. Literally, like, so small. And so, for me, I just knew I was the only black person. But I wasn't aware of, I'm the token black person. I'm the person that, if I do a good job, they can take my success story and they can use that. Absolutely. And that's what I don't like. It's never fun.
I think my realization for being like that token was I was at Job Corps. And, like, they were going around and we were making up, like, this camp song or some shit like that. And they're like, they asked for a beat or asked so I could beatbox, and literally the whole room in unison like turned around and looked at me. Like, nigga, I don't fucking beatbox or fucking
fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was and at that moment it was the most awkward for me because like when I was younger or something like that would usually be funny to me. Or so you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, yeah, I got y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like, not really.
And do some stupid stuff.
Some ignorant ass nigga shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, like, being aware, I think that was my first realization. Like, oh shit, this isn't okay. Like,
no, it's definitely different being aware.
Yes, and ever since that, it's like you almost think that everything is racist. And it's like, so it's like people have this joke where I'll like say something, like somebody will say something to me, I'm like, what is it? Is it because I'm black? And it's like they
say that
a lot.
Damn,
a lot. But and it's not even like sometimes I'm joking, but sometimes I'm real about it because it's like, for me, if I notice somebody gets a certain type of treatment,
you be saying that shit,
nigga. If I notice somebody gets a certain type of treatment,
really say that.
And I know for a fact that I do that, or I see somebody getting gratitude for something I know I do plus more, and nothing that I do is positive. Matter of fact, that kind of brings up our topic. We're gonna go on to that. So the topic we're talking about is the school to prison pipeline, right? And I was listening to this lady. I'm not sure of her name. It was a TED talk. And basically, she was saying, like, on this school to prison pipeline, one of the things that happens to those kids that are, like, considered bad or whatever, every negative thing that is done is, like, you pay attention to it. It's reinforced, you know what I'm saying? Instead of everything positive that happens being reinforced. Like, anytime I fuck up anywhere, it is the biggest deal ever. Let a nigga go and fix and solve a big-ass problem. It's like, all right, it's your job, okay? What's your point? You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, I know what I contribute to certain things or certain environments, but it seems like no matter where I'm at, they make a nigga feel like I'm replaceable. You know what I mean?
Nigga, you replaceable.
And so, and I mean, I understand that everybo's replaceable. Say I die, something happens to me, they're going to have somebody in there doing the same thing I do. Mm-hmm. But I just feel like, a lot of things are happen to me, especially in the environments that I am, because a lot of the times I'm the only black person. A lot of the times I'm literally the only black person. Like I said, I went to this summer camp, or I went to like a college prep summer school type thing at the University of Idaho. There was a couple of black people there, but I was like the biggest black person. You know what I mean? Like,
I used to be like in like fucking like grade school, like probably like 3rd to 6th grade. I used to go to them camps. When
yeah,
I was working at the Salvation Army, I used to always go to the camp. But it used to be like I was like the only black kid, and then
Yeah.
the only black kid.
right.
Oh, you. It's another light skin nigga over there.
But you know what's even crazy is it's like
Weird.
there was like even people like I'm like skin at all, but like I remember I ended up seeing somebody that I hadn't seen in forever, and he was like, I didn't realize that was you. I always thought you were darker than that.
What?
Yeah, and
They never seen you before or something?
no, he had seen me before. He had seen me. We used to all hang out, but I hadn't seen him for years. But I used to be the darkest guy around, so I was always the black joke, the black motherfucker this, or you look like a power line or some shit like that. Like it was always some black shit, you know what I'm saying? So after we separate and we come back together after all these years, I'm sure the way he perceives different things in life is different, you know what I'm saying? So when he saw me again, he was like, damn, I always thought you were darker than that. And I was like, damn, like, all those black jokes made you really think and look at me a certain way. And I've always been that black guy, you know what I'm saying? So,
But that's also how people are perceived, is based off the narrative that is fed and perpetuated. So you're gonna be that. Whatever narrative, like, at that moment, it was the jokes about your skin color.
Yeah.
So in his head, he has made this whole narrative, like, I'm going to remember him because of this. And so now, when he come back, like, okay, wait, damn, you ain't that dark? But it was because of the narrative that was always being played. And I feel like it's always the narrative in our minds that, like, leads us to do and say and feel and act certain ways.
Absolutely. So I wanted to jump in and kind of explain, like, go back and, like, explain what we were talking about, the school to prison pipeline. We had did the big group review with your sister Tati, and we kind of like afterwards to talk about if we ever wanted to talk about the school to prison pipeline. And I was like, that's a fucking great idea. And so I thought it'd be cool because you're a teacher and a black woman. You could come on and help us kind of talk about it, kind of explain like what you see that happens in the school system now that kind of perpetuates that same type of cycle. How we as a community, and as all parents, how we can help our kids not end up in those same cycles, and just like just a melting pot, just kind of brainstorming like what we could do together to kind of like not reinforce these negative stereotypes.
Yeah.
Wifey, when you have a second, go ahead. We're gonna read a couple chapters of this, the origins of the schools to prison pipeline.
Okay, so harsh school policies and practices and the increased role of law enforcement in schools have combined to create a schoolhouse to jailhouse track, in which out-of-school suspensions, expulsions, and school-based arrests are increasingly used to deal with student misbehavior, especially for minor incidents, and huge numbers of children and youth are pushed out of school and into the juvenile and criminal justice systems. This is more than an education crisis. It is a racial justice crisis because the students pushed out through harsh discipline are disproportionately students of color. Students with disabilities and LGBTQ students are also disproportionately impacted by these policies. The ideology of zero-tolerance school discipline comes from the get tough on drugs and crime policies of the 1980s. In the 1980s, we know that spurred by the Reagan administration's declaration of a war on drugs, there was a move in the criminal justice and law enforcement world to move toward taking a tough on crime stance. This led to a tripling in the national prison population over the last 30 years.
Jesus Christ.
The United States leads the world in its incarceration rate. We make up only 5% of the world's population, but we incarcerate a full 25% of the world's imprisoned people. In the 1990s, the misguided super predator theory, Brandon Young.
25%.
That's crazy. That's crazy as fuck. In the whole entire world, though.
But you're only 5%.
But we only 5%.
Bro! Come on, man. Go ahead.
In the 1990s, the misguided super predator theory branded young people of color as criminal. not only perpetuating a negative story about them, but also leading to increased punishments for them.
That's crazy. What do you guys think about that?
Sounds about right to me.
Well, we were saying that's crazy to the point where we were saying, she said, we only make up 5% of the world's population, but we make up 25% of the world's incarcerated people. That is insane. And I think a majority of that shit is like black people. But of the U.S. or the United States, I think we're only like 14% or some shit like that. I don't know. We're a small ass population in the United States, but we are like some of the most incarcerated also. And I remember back when this whole George Floyd thing was coming out and all this police brutality, they were talking about how it's a fact that more white people are killed by the cops than black people are. But that's only based off of there being more white people population. You know what I mean? If you break it down to how many black people are killed and how many black people are, the percentage of how many black people are in that town or area or whatever, we are way, 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 way higher. Nigga, hell yeah. It's crazy.
I should go viral anyway.
What? What's that?
I should not go viral. Shout out George Floyd and that's fucked up, huh? Shout out George Floyd.
I think I might be taking that part out, Brody.
You know, I would not be opposed to that.
I'm going viral.
Hey,
I don't know, bro.
what do you think about him? Since you brought it up, he just got awarded $25 million. His family did.
Yeah, I think it was for like 90 million or some shit they was suing for though.
I think it's whack because it's paid by the taxpayers. It's not paid by the person that. It's not paid by. And it's not paid by like the police commissioners or anything like that. It's paid from the government, I think, or something.
We was holding Black Lives Matter and stuff and all that other shit.
Check this out. What do you guys feel about Tamir Rice's? We're hella spinning off, but who cares?
Pay taxes for prison.
Tamir Rice's mother has came forward and basically said that she's kind of disappointed in Black Lives Matter, and I think she's suing Black Lives Matter for like $20 million or some shit like that.
What is she disappointed in?
The fact that they're using the black people's struggle to basically profit and make money, but they're not really looking out for her. Right? We did a whole segment on that, and basically how Black Lives Matter does not support the Western standard of Western living or whatever, and basically it's like the structure of the man being the head of the household. It's like a brand by a bunch of lesbians and shit. And like their mission statement is specifically to like get rid of the black man. It's so crazy. You should go on their like website and read it. It was so.
What's interesting is that during Black History Month for my class, I do a little thing. It's called Black Lives Matter in the School.
Yeah. And
so each day we talk about the 13 guiding principles for the people who created Black Lives Matter in school. And you saying that, I'm thinking back on the 13 principles, and the one thing that included a man was the black family. So you acknowledge the black family, and that being a principle, though. So Black Lives Matter in the School is based on these 13 principles, and the one of them was the black family, including like the whole family, right? But you saying that just like made me think like, wait, there really is no recognition of, and like, I'm not saying like what do you recognize, but how do you recognize it, right? So if the black man is already here, right?
Yeah.
The black man, like, okay, there's white men, and then there's Asian men on a scale of whatever we want to scale
Glad
it.
you just said that.
Yeah.
Then there's black men, then there's Hispanic men, right? Well,
we at the very bottom.
Okay, so then it's split.
Yeah.
Hispanic then black. Yeah. So if we say
it's other than black, sorry.
Oh damn.
It goes.
It is other, huh?
Yeah, it goes. It goes white, Asian, Mexican, other, black.
Damn.
We at the very.
Yeah.
We at the very.
And I feel like, but that's also like because you are a man.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the narrative of being a black man is taken away because you're a man, right? So like men already have had all these things, right? You already have this. You're a man. You can do this. But I'm a black man at the same time, and that's the part that's not always acknowledged.
Right.
And the black boys that are going to turn into black men, that part is not acknowledged. And so I find that very interesting because that is one thing that it never comes up. But at the same time, people are probably thinking like, we talk about men enough. in history, it's all about men, but it's not about the black men and what they do and what they struggle with.
What you're saying makes so much sense. What you're saying from that perspective, I understand it a little more. You're saying like they're not saying like fuck black men. They're just saying fuck men. Period.
Yeah, and y'all just fall in that category.
But us being, I feel like the ones directly under attack. To get a black woman, you have to have a black man. Maybe that might be controversial to say, but like you can't. To get a woman, you have to have a man to create it. Or
I feel like that's taking a different path though. Because well, yeah, we know how people are created,
right?
But to stress like you need a man to make a child. Like, okay, well, we know.
Oh my God, I see what you're saying.
Like, we know.
Okay, I see what you're saying. But I just feel like I don't know. I feel like as us. All right, let me spin again. I was talking to one of her friends, and I was telling her that I feel like she was saying something about like black women and how like black women are this and black women are that, and I was telling her like, nah, I feel like it's more. We should focus more on how to like get equality for black men. Like black men, I feel like protect black women. I feel like for the most part, I think for the most part, I'm not talking about your average like hoodlum urban inner city kid that's trying to pimp a bitch. That's not what I'm talking about.
Let me know too, because that's
you're talking
small
about
minimum. Like
you're talking about a small portion.
Yeah,
you're talking about a small percentage of black men that protect black women.
No, I think a lot.
I think there's a lot.
But
I think a lot.
I think a lot of them do. But do we know? Like, where are they? And so, when I'm as a black woman to say, I have not always felt protected, and maybe he's coming one day. But even starting with my dad, I do not feel protected by him. There's not one black man in my life that I've said I've always felt protected because of him. So while saying yes, that is true, like the black man's job is to protect the black woman, stand by the black woman's side. The problem is that they don't always do that.
You want to go? Because I have a feeling. I got a personal feeling about. Go ahead.
Oh, you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Roddy. Go ahead.
Don't get emotional.
I might. Go ahead.
Need some tissue?
Yeah, I might. Go ahead.
I was gonna say like, respected. Like, what is the respect level of like what we saying? Like, black men care about women. Like, what is the respect level we putting on it? Like, when you say like certain black people don't. I don't know how to like. All right, so you basically how I'm looking at it is.
Wait, let me say this real quick. It is a common thing that we realize and we run into that we hear that we've had over like 4 or 5 black women come on here and say
and that's
they do not feel protected by black men.
I'm trying to. What is the respect level? Where's the protection at? Like what protection?
What is it that you guys
are looking for?
What is it that you are looking for? Is it that you can call them and be like, "Hey, this and this happened. I need you here right now." Is it you needing somebody to call and have a shoulder to cry on? Is it
It's all of it. It's all of it. And even just, if we just pick the emotional aspect, I think a lot of black men are not, even as young boys, are not taught and shown that it's okay to show emotion. So if a black woman is looking for a shoulder to lean on, a shoulder to cry, do you understand where I'm coming from? It's not okay. And even, we can go back to being in school. It is not okay for black boys in the school system to show their emotions because now they're doing too much. Why are you yelling? Now you're doing too much. Now you're in trouble. You're getting frustrated with me. I don't care why, right? Like all these things are said in the school. So as you get older, you're not going to go like, you know what? I love her, so I'm going to share all my emotions. It doesn't work that way.
Absolutely not.
And so I'm not saying that's everybody's perspective, but for me, that's what I've seen.
We can't share emotions with every female. We can't share emotions with everybody.
No, you can't. Just like I'm not about to share my emotions with every man that I come up.
That's what I'm saying. So
how
do you general like black men care about black women?
No. We are. We're talking about general. I just use that as an example.
She's like, how can we? Essentially, she's saying what she feels, but then again, she's saying like she's also kind of looking out for us. It's like, how can you do something that you've never been shown or know for? So she's like being devil's advocate.
No, I hear that, but I'm saying like
you're not about to open up to every single person.
Yeah, like
Right, and I totally agree. I think that has been one of my downfalls in my life is not opening enough or knowing when to open up. But yeah, no, you're not supposed to open up and just show that emotion. But when it is time, it's really hard to because you have. I'm not saying you because Black men have not been taught how to and that it's okay to.
It's extremely hard to turn feelings into words.
Mm-hmm.
Even grown-ups deal with that. It's like, for me, I take, the only way I got to the point of being able to turn my feelings as a word is, it's like going to anger management and therapy and counseling and being able to be taught how to learn what it is that I feel and becoming more in tune with who it is that I am. But I feel like going back to the Black man and like Black women, I feel like we were talking about this yesterday, but Black women, I feel like I don't know what made them like certain men like this, but Black women like cookie cutter niggas. They don't like for instance, it's 9 times out of 10 you're gonna go or not. I'm saying when I say you, I mean
I know
like
what you're saying.
okay,
You're
I'm
fine.
not,
I'm not the type that's gonna be like, I know he didn't just say that. I'm not gonna be
I was like, oh shit! I mean, sorry. I got scared as fuck just now. I ain't gonna lie, nigga. Yeah. So I just feel like 9 times out of 10, a woman's gonna go for the guy with the big shiny necklace, pants sagging, nice car, whatever, instead of like the guy that's going to college, whatever. Like women like roughneck motherfuckers.
You know that reminds me of Moesha. Moesha had her Q, right? Was that his name?
Yeah.
She had Q. She had Hakeem.
she got with Hakeem though.
Hood ass nigga, right?
No, not Hakeem. Hakeem was a best friend that was
Okay, the darker one.
But Q was her bad boy.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like all Black women want that, but I think that all Black women can have that if they want that, and they've had that.
I think from my experience, Black women do not like niggas that's not like a little rough around the edges. If you try to express yourself and talk about how you feel and shit, you's a bitch, you's a sucker, you's a sorry ass nigga. You out in these streets acting hard and shit, but want to start crying on the phone with me? Bro, Black women will put in
like,
Black dude.
I thought that was us.
Bro, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, let him fall out of line and do something. She's trying to put that nigga's business out on internet. Like, bro.
I'm not taking that away from you.
All right, I'll give you that.
That is possible. Yes, that is possible. I can't speak on it because I've done some shit now.
I know there's been at least once you done called a nigga that wasn't that typical thug nigga. That nigga's a bitch or a pussy. I know you done got a man and called a nigga a bitch before.
Yeah, but not because you did something that I deem as weak, but because you're acting like a bitch.
Okay, I don't know.
That's the only difference. I can't speak.
See, now you see what you just said. You said something valuable now.
What?
What?
You're acting like a bitch.
You just acting like a bitch. I ain't call you a bitch. You know what I mean? I just said you was acting like
right,
a bitch.
so
Like when I'm out of line and I'm doing
context.
some foul stuff, like if I'm doing some foul stuff, right? Like if I'm moving foul and we're in an argument and you call me that, like don't. Well, first of all, don't. But
yeah, foul entertainment, by the way.
I'm not gonna call you a bitch because you're acting weak, like you're showing your emotions, and then one day I get mad. I'm not, because I know what it feels like to have somebody that does not show their emotions.
Yeah.
So at this point, I feel like it comes with life too, though. But at this point, if you want to cry, I'm gonna cry with you because now I'm happy that you want to cry in front of me, right? Like I'm ready to see.
But as a younger woman,
for sure. No, for sure. I'm telling. I had my cue.
Okay.
I had my cue. I had my high key. Like.
Yeah. When Black women do not fuck with like not thug niggas, bro.
I went through that phase.
You hear that shit? You see that shit on the other. Like there was a famous rapper that just put online. I don't want a nigga unless he likes got 2 bodies or some shit like that.
Well, damn. No. Okay.
She says that
Don't
shit.
kill anybody, okay? Don't do that shit.
She said that shit, bro. Like.
But then again, if you ever been around, you know what I mean? It's a calm. So certain shit just don't move niggas. You feel me? So if that's what they looking for, that's they structure. You feel me? And that's what they trying to get to. It's not that she want a nigga. It's more the fact that like if there's something that happen right now, this nigga's really not finna flinch.
Okay, yeah,
Shit
see,
like
that's
that. And like when she getting all loud and shit, she finna just be getting loud really to herself. And this nigga really finna.
where are we going?
I was just saying.
I get what you're saying, but
that person or not saying like.
So back to what I said a couple episodes ago, you just really like that domestic violence shit.
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
A lot.
Bro!
For real, like, for real.
Bro, breathe.
Y'all just don't wanna
Let's
get
change
choked.
that though. No, let's
As soon
change
as the
that.
hands come, that's when
Let's
it
not say they like domestic violence. Let's say they like their man to show aggression. Let's not say domestic. I'm really gonna say that because you can't say you cannot.
Jen.
What?
You
know, like nobody.
I'm not saying. I didn't say
Once
that.
it becomes domestic violence, I guess it's just the term. It's the term for me.
Okay.
Like they might, like.
I
If
personally.
I'm gonna cut you a couple times, like.
See, that's cool.
Duh.
See, when the hands come, then it's.
But if you just
he
like.
beat me up.
Okay.
He
I don't
just
know.
grabbed
I can't speak
you.
on something I haven't been through. So
There's some niggas out here that doing a whole lot of though. We're not going.
No, I'm not condoning that shit.
We're not
I'm
going to
not.
out. We're not condoning that.
No.
That yeah, it's a whole lot of people.
I've met more women that would prefer when I was angry they said that they'd rather me like grab me up and put me in my place, daddy.
No.
I've had that happen.
I don't know.
You haven't experienced that one yet?
Nah, just to be like, nah. But that's what I'm saying. Some people, that's what I'm saying. Some females could be just, because there's all type of, people like what they like. And they like their kinks and their freaks and shit, but I don't know.
I personally don't want to have to make nobody act no type of way.
I was like thinking,
You know what?
on
Yeah,
that
I
topic
agree.
we were just talking about, like personally, I was like, going back to what you were saying, like being as kids or whatever, like growing up not being able to, or feel love or being shown love or whatever. I was kind of thinking it the same way as women. Like a lot of women, when they're looking at men, like you saying your father and shit like that, or not could be saying my dad or like my mom or all type of shit. It's a lot.
You're fine, bro. Go ahead. You're doing good.
But I was about to be like, what if y'all like basically is it a double standard because you're not looking at a father figure there to show you like what natural love is supposed to be and how the man is supposed to move and walk, just like as the man is supposed to be looking at his mom and she doing different things and things like that. You know what I mean? Is there like a double standard to it? And that could be a reason why black people just clash like that. Because we both raised the same as far as like the communities and what we do, but it's like that racism part where it's people being like, black men don't like black women, what black women don't like. I really don't understand because it's like.
All right, we was talking about that not that long ago at work. I was talking to this. So there's these old dudes that work at my job, right? And I always feel like older black men always try to like prove, like try to show me, like, little nigga, you might think this about yourself, but nigga, you ain't shit. Mm-hmm. And I get that more than you doing good, keep going. I'm glad you're not out here trying to rob and kill people. I have never in my life met a black man that's ever been like, good job, man. Like, I see you doing something positive. Good job. Stay on that. Like, wow, I've never met one. Not one. Ever.
That's a lie, bro. Come on, bro. If we all met supportive, they might have just been like, I don't know. I ain't been.
Where? Give me that number.
Good right, nigga. Who?
Photo, nigga. I ain't that nigga.
I think so.
You guys have to understand where I'm coming from. I'm not saying.
I definitely agree. I guess it's just a teacher in me that always goes back to, when were you taught to give people, to acknowledge give people kudos? Who taught you that?
I think I learned that from not really getting it from myself. Mm-hmm. So it was like kind of
self-awareness,
yeah.
right?
Because I felt like I always ended up in situations where my fault.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was always my fault, no matter.
So you're going to acknowledge whatever you do right because nobody else does.
Right. So I've also gotten to a point where it's like, even if I'm like, say like we make a dinner, it could be a bomb ass dinner. I want to sit down with her, and as we're eating, I want to figure out one thing we could have done better to make the dinner better. Mm-hmm. Maybe it could be like the way we prep something, how we cook something, how long we cooked it, the temperature on it. I'm always trying to grow and develop, and I think that came from always being at fault for everything, every relationship I'm in. my mom and like say like teachers in school, like everything was always me.
So if that narrative could have changed earlier, say you learned that what you were doing was good enough and you heard that more at school, for example, and just people in general, I'm not going to say people because most of the time white students and Asian students do get more accolades at school, but as a black kid in school, do you feel like if you would have heard that more, or if black kids heard that more, they would be better as they get older and giving kudos as they get older? Right? Yeah. So it goes back to the same thing. Like, he probably, and even with black men, like, not even black men, but people in general that don't know how to share their emotions or don't know how to say, well, that's a nice car. Like, oh, do you have, he could have simply just said, oh, do you have a family? How many kids do you have? Opposed to like, damn, why you got that family car, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't know how to do that. Yeah. In his way, he's trying to communicate, maybe, and I'm just, I don't know. But he could, like he could have been trying to build a relationship, and he really doesn't know how.
No, but the type of person, and I'm not
taking that away. It's definitely some hater type shit. He doesn't know how to.
He's just a certain tone and a certain way that he talks. Like
that nigga's a hater.
Yeah, I think
and I've always experienced that like from black men, and it's like almost every job that I've gotten into, an older black man will try to fight me, like physically try to fight me, and I usually and it's weird.
Because, what are you doing to these people? No,
like for me, it's like
that nigga's working.
No, for real,
bro. For real, what it is like
no, that nigga's working.
Like I literally will go somewhere and I'll try my best to be the best, no matter what the fuck it is that I'm doing. And nigga, you gonna know I'm better than you. Not by me telling you I'm better than you, but just you gonna see me work. Yeah. And I have no problem competing with niggas 40, 50, 60 years old. Like, I don't give a fuck how old you is, nigga. I do not care. Like, that shit literally does not scare me. It does not pump fear in my heart. And I think they see it as like, nigga, who the fuck do you think you are? Yeah. And it's like, nigga, I'm here to show you, motherfucker. And I think that attitude makes a lot of older black men, like, they want to prove to me, like, nigga, you ain't shit. Yeah. But, nigga, you can't tell me that.
Hey, that goes to it. Hey, because I was just, like, talking with Shorty at work, right, about this whole scenario that we're talking about right now, randomly. This is crazy, randomly. But it was, like, how do, like, that generation before us, like, she was explaining it being, like, they never had respect for the elders above them. They all take it as, in, like, pampered, like they try to be dismissive of Christ and dismissive of like the laws and rules that was set for them to be. Or
you said the generation before us, or like
the generation
before us,
like the people that's like 40, 50?
Yeah, the ones in
because we about to be 30.
Yeah,
so you talking about the people?
You better speak for yourself. No, I'm just playing.
Nah, nigga, you getting up there with us, motherfucker. Stop that. You getting up there.
You was born last year.
Yeah, bro. For sure.
But it's just like one of them things where it's like the generation before, like, the respect, was that like a lost cause? Like, is it a lost thing where it's like...
I think so, because I feel like the generation before us is the generation that was like, started to like, fuck the OGs. They the ones that kind of started that attitude, you know what I mean?
That's what you was talking about, the old head being like...
Bro, I was...
not to share it and talk to people. But before him, he wasn't, you know what I mean?
But he's from the generations where they respected OGs. He's almost 60 years old. So they had that back then.
That's like a cutoff, because it's really like 78, 80, 75.
Nah, my mom, our mom's generation, 50s, 60s.
Was wildin'.
Bro, they were born in 1960. They was not too much wildin',
They
nigga.
was wildin'.
Bro, it was not.
Bro, the group came in 68. They was getting down and dirty.
Oh my God.
Bro, they was, but they wasn't. The way
with their chest open. You know,
but it was different, bro. There was still respect.
There was definitely more respect for elders than what we see today.
From sure, my mom said there was a point in time where if somebody seen somebody's kid acting up in public, you could go and whoop them and then tell their mom you whooped their ass.
Hold everybody accountable, regardless if they are yours.
Bro, and so the 40-year-olds, the ones that's above us, they was the generation like, let them see you whooping their kid, they gonna kill you or tell the police on you.
And now
our generation, like our moms and shit, say like your mom saw me doing something wrong and she popped me or whatever and went and told my mom about it, she'd be like, good. And get your little ass to your room.
Today, no.
That's not happening.
It's not happening at all. Shit, a kid might turn around like, I know you didn't just hit me. I'm about to fight you. Like, I think about my brother. He's 18, and there's no way in hell anybody speaking to him. Like, who are you talking to? I don't care how old you are. Like, it really is just like, so. And I'm just like, why is he like this? Why are you so mean to people? But even just like his elders, like, we seen my uncle's ex-wife the other day, and he was like, I don't know why y'all just spoke to her. I wouldn't speak to her. I'm like, damn, like, why are you like this? He was like, because she did this wrong and she did this wrong, so I don't know why y'all talk to her. But that's really how this generation is. Like, it's just like, they don't care how old you are, how young you are. If they see something they don't like,
anybody can get it.
No, for like,
it ain't going viral.
See, I'm kind of like that too, though, because I don't really give a fuck about titles. If you didn't live up to that title, you don't get that respect for that title. Like,
but you're not gonna do that to like your great auntie. Like, you're not gonna.
No. Fuck
yeah,
no,
like this generation, they don't give a damn.
But like stepmoms, moms, brothers, like when you are, God has given you a specific job as a certain person in a person's life, and if you do not live up to that standard, you do not get the respect as such from me. I don't give a fuck if I came straight out of you. I don't care if you raised me as your own and you was married to my dad for. I don't give a fuck about none of that. You didn't live up to that title. You do not get that respect. And that's just how I am. There's not going to be no, but this happened and you have to understand. Nah, fuck that. You got a job. You didn't do it. I'm too old now to be like sorry and shit. You can be sorry. I
know
forget.
God personally. How you know she had a job? You know they had a job.
I know everybody got a job. Everybody has a purpose. Everybody. It might take some longer than others to figure out what that is, but everybody has a purpose, for sure. So, but I don't know. I get what you're saying as far as what if he was trying to build that connection, he didn't know how to communicate. I think he comes from the generation that I feel like, I don't know if he should know how to communicate, but he doesn't come from the generation where he's older, so I just thought
he should know.
I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
It's 50, 55, 60 plus, bro. You like grandpa age. I mean, at 40, you could be a grandpa, but like 50, 60, I feel like that's when that wisdom from life starts to kick in. But I don't, it might be, but basically I was just saying, I don't know if a man being in the house will improve that child. And it might improve as far as discipline. Because even that was another thing that lady was saying in the video I sent you guys. She was saying, if kids do something wrong, like, how many times do you hit a kid, discipline a kid for hitting by hitting? How many times do you discipline a kid for yelling by yelling? Like, like, the things that we do to kids aren't really teaching them to do different.
In a way.